Good evening and welcome in, everyone. Lovely to have you here, and we are back for the MotorMotion E-Series GT3 Championship, sponsored by Player1 Sim Gear. And we are now in round 4 of our 10-round season. It's the first season that the GT3 Championship has been running, and we have all been looking forward to very much this round 4 here at a very, very sunny Catalunya. It's a fantastic track. Everyone's ready to go. Everyone's landed in Spain. The teams are ready. The pit lane has been prepared. The tires are out. And it's going to be an absolutely fantastic race here with the GT3 cars. Whole mix of different cars involved today, as always. The teams preparing and making sure that their cars are in absolute top form for what is going to be quite the showdown as the Group B lobby does heat up as we head towards halfway through the season. And it's going to be quite the spectacle today, folks, so make sure you stay tuned. And before we get completely going, we're going to have a quick word from our sponsor, Player1 Sim Gear.
Level up your sim racing experience with Player1 Sim Gear. Shop the biggest brands and the best range today. Player1 Sim Gear, official sponsors of MotorMotion E-Series.
Of course, Player1 Sim Gear kindly sponsoring our GT3 Championship here at the MotorMotion E-Series. They've kindly donated some victory prizes for the division champions. Of course, there are 4 divisions that we will go through momentarily. The Player1 Sim Gear were created by sim enthusiasts for sim enthusiasts. They're Melbourne-based, 100% Australia-owned and operated. And they've got all the gear you could possibly imagine from all the different kinds of sim platforms out there, from flights to driving tractors, even mowing lawns, you name it. And they've, like I said, kindly sponsored the MotorMotion E-Series GT3 Championship. You can check them out on www.p1simgear.com.au. And for everyone who is watching live on the Twitch broadcast, we have some commands in chat you're more than welcome to test out, try out, and use. They are !MM for the MotorMotion E-Series information, !P1 for the Player1 Sim Gear information, !Group A for the Group A lobby, which we will be talking about momentarily. So why don't we jump straight into some information for today's race. So of course we are at Barcelona. This is an amazing circuit here in Catalunya, and for those who don't know, we have 4.654 kilometers of track distance here, 16 corners, and as you can see, it is a sunny, sunny afternoon, or as you saw, it's a sunny, sunny afternoon. We'll get to the weather shortly, and of course, this is being brought to you today, the Group B broadcast by myself in the commentary box, solo, as always, George Cooke, also known as Crazy Good Kung Fu. I'd like to say a big welcome into everyone, and my privilege once again to be bringing you all the action from here on track. And at the round 4, it's going to be really, really good, this one. The championship, like I said, is heating up. Before we get to that, a quick mention for our Group A broadcast. Nick Patasso back in the commentary box alongside Joel Austin. And they are going to be putting on a banger of a show as well in the Group A lobby. 60 minutes here at Spain today on the medium tires. A mandatory tire. They are allowed to use any tire that they want, from softs to hards, but I suspect we will only see the softs and the mediums. The mediums, as I mentioned before, are required. So there are the 2 broadcasts for you. Like I said, if you want to check out the Group A lobby, you are welcome to !Group A in the chat for the information to get there. I believe that's up to date. If it's not, please someone do let me know. And if not, you can also find that information on the MotorMotion E-Series Paddock, which is the Facebook group that we coordinate and run all of our broadcasts from. So, looking over at the previous race results, round 3 was at Spa-Francorchamps, and it was a cloudy one. No rain, which was good. But nonetheless, on the screen right now are your Platinum and Gold Division results from last time out. Some good points gained by a lot of the members of those 2 lobbies. A nice split down the middle. Zed Hosking taking out a fantastic win there for Scarborough Motorsport. Big points for them this time round. And Mr. Barlow from Black Rose Racing taking out the Gold Championship division there, the win at Spa. The driver of the day last week for Group A was Mr. Hosking. He had a fantastic race, great strategy used, and he put in the win overall and the win in the Platinum Championship. And these are your drivers in the Platinum and Gold Championships. We won't go through this list. If you want to go and get more details on them, please go and check out the Group A lobby, hosted by Nick Patasso and Joel Austin. So the standings, as you can see, for the Platinum Gold divisions, Morgan Davey, the privateer, still leading the Platinum division, doing very well to hold off against these formidable teams. And Scott Barlow leading now by quite some margin in the Gold Championship. Like I said, things are starting to heat up. But over here for our Group B lobby, it was an absolutely amazing race last time out. We had a huge mix in the field. The Silver Championship drivers getting caught out by the conditions at Spa and the complexity of the track, wrangling their cars, trying to get something to happen. Didn't happen for all of them, as you can see. So in the green, you have the Silver Championship drivers, and in the red, you have the Bronze Championship drivers. An unbelievably good run for Wade Rushton and Dylan Scarborough, who held on to the top 2 positions for a long period during the race, with an incredible drive from Wade Rushton to bring over a bunch of points for Gridline Racing. 3rd place overall and 1st place finish for the Bronze Championship. Really, really well. And Dean van der Zandt losing out. Not a race victory for him this time out. He couldn't keep up with Sean Parker, our privateer in the Mercedes AMG. And it was quite the close finish. Once again between those two, sparks going off at the top of this championship. Further down the field, Jeff Bruin had a good race overall, clawing back some points after a few disappointing results at the previous races. And then Aiden Sampson, Monica Camilleri finishing ahead of the 3rd place Bronze Championship winner, which was Richard Robinson for Diffusion Race Engineering. And unfortunately, Richard is not with us today. He's unable to make it out to Spain for this round 4, and he will be replaced from one of the reserve drivers in the Group B list, and that is going to be Rookie 98. And then following him, Karma Foster, and then Ricky Rick for Strike Racetech, who didn't have a good race result, unfortunately, losing out once again through contact early on in the race. Troy Britnell going from 1st place in the Bronze Championship win for the Monza in round 2 to finishing, unfortunately, quite far behind the field, 5th for him. Matt Kutcher, unfortunately, experienced a lot of unfortunate, unforced errors during Spa. He really did get caught out, and that has elevated a bunch of the Bronze Championship drivers above him, getting some extra points. And that is something to bear in mind. If you are a Bronze Championship and you finish ahead of your Silver Championship drivers, you get extra points. And so that's why this lobby, this round, last time round, round 3, was so exciting with such a mixed field. Chris White, not a great race for him, but he moved up a couple of positions. Matthew Joinson going for more alternative strategies, but making some mistakes towards the end of the race, and that has cost him a massive amount of points, only bagging 1 there. And finally, last but not least, it is Tim Pears for Strike Racetech. He got more points than Matthew Joinson, as you can see there, but unfortunately not the result that Strike Racetech were looking for, unfortunately. And a quick hello to everyone in the Twitch chat. Welcome in, lovely to have you in. Do let me know if the audio is coming through clearly, etc. And I hope you have a fantastic time watching this beautiful race from a sunny Catalunya. Driver of the day at round 3 was Wade Rushton, and he really did have an absolutely spectacular drive from 9th place in qualifying all the way to 1st place in the Bronze Championship and a 3rd place finish overall in the race. It was consistent, it was well timed, the strategy was on point, and he did very well to manage that BMW around the complicated track of Spa. Really, really well done to him. Let's see if he can perform another spectacular drive here today. So these are your drivers from the Silver Championship and the Bronze Championship. The colors corresponding, green for silver and red for bronze. If you hear me refer to them as the Pro-Am and Am categories, you now know exactly why. The Silver Championship is the Pro-Am Championship. The Bronze is the Am Championship. So just FYI. Now, as you can see there on the list, we do have Richard Robinson Down there towards the bottom of the list on the Bronze Championship, he is not driving with us today, as I mentioned just before. Rookie 98 from the reserve driver list taking his place for Diffusion Race Engineering. And the teams do have the option to pull a reserve driver out of the list of reserves if they do have a driver that cannot participate. So Diffusion Race Engineering opting for that choice today. So the overall standings for the Silver and Bronze Championships, as it stands, Dean van der Zandt still with a significant lead over his second place competitor, Sean Parker, our privateer. So WTC Racing definitely bagging a bunch of points from Dean's incredible drives. Will he be able to get victory here today at Catalunya? We will see. Further behind, it is Matthew Joinson, who's come so close to getting some amazing results. So really, really unfortunate strategy calls a couple of times that's just set him back, unfortunately, in the championship. Still holding on to a solid third place, though. Matt Kutscher, I should say. And once again, for the second round in a row, I have to apologize to Matt. I do call him by his nickname, Kutsch. But Matt Kutscher for Black Rose Racing in the Mercedes AMG. 18 points for him, only 1 point ahead of fifth place. Jeff Bruin will be looking to get up in the driver standings today. Monica Camilleri in sixth place on 16 points, and as you can see, quite close between third and seventh. Only 4 points separating it, so it's all to play for at the moment in Group B in the Silver Championship. Aidan Sampson in seventh place, also on an equal standing to sixth place. And last but not least, it is Ricky Rick from Strike Racetech on 5 points. In the Bronze Championship, Wade Rushton, 56 points that last round, really getting him ahead by 14 points in the Bronze Championship. Well done to him. Second place, Richard Robertson, not able to compete today. I believe the reserve drivers gain 50% of the points, so if Rookie 98 is able to pull off a really good win today, the team will only get 50% of the points from his drive. Third place goes to Dylan Scarborough. He had an absolutely mega drive out at Spa. It really was quite spectacular. He was initially up into the top 3 places. I think at one point he was in second place overall. Yes, overall. And unfortunately, that Porsche of his was not able to go the distance. A bit of an unforced error on very degraded tires later on at Spa that cost him the overall win, but a second place finish, getting him a ton of good points. In fourth place, Troy Britnell, the winner at Monza for the Bronze Championship, but not able to make something happen at Spa. There's 33 points for him, followed closely by Karma Foster for NED Racing on 32 points. Sixth place in the Bronze Championship, Chris White with 23 points. Bit of a palindrome going on there between him and fifth place. And then last but not least, it is Tim Pears, 7th overall for Strike Racetech in the Bronze Championship. So, where do all the teams stand at the moment? Well, as you can see on the screen, we've had a bit of a change-up. WTCR, who were leading at the start of Spa, now falling back to third place. Diffusion Race Engineering losing out to those bottom 5s. I mentioned to you guys last time that we did have quite the competition between second and fifth, and looks like Diffusion Race Engineering not coming out of that with a significant amount of points, unfortunately for them. So, but they're still in it, 99 points, close to the 100 there. And welcome in everyone to chat. Lovely to have you in here. So for first place at the moment, Black Rose Racing from South Australia on 146 points. The lead is not significant, but it is a lead nonetheless. Closely following them is Scarborough Motorsport from New South Wales. Their drivers, Matthew Joinson and Dylan Scarborough, will be following today, looking for a good result. That could bag them the first place in the championship, going into the mid-season race, round 5. And of course, we are at round 4 today. In third place in the team standings, WTCR dropping a couple of positions from South Australia at 120 points, but still very much in it, followed closely by Gridline Racing. Tasmanian team with Jeff Bruin and Wade Rushton. Wade getting a fantastic result last time out, our driver of the day. Jeff Bruin looking to reclaim some points at Catalunya today. 119 points for them, so very close. They could be well back up into the top 3 at the end of this race. NED Racing 9 points behind fourth place from Queensland. Monica and Karma, they are both fantastic drivers, and I hope to see them put on a great show today. Sixth place goes to Diffusion Race Engineering on 99 points, a little bit behind, but nonetheless still very much in it. And our only New Zealand team, Aidan Sampson and Richard Robinson, now, as I said before, for the third time. I'll probably repeat this many times during the broadcast, everyone, but Richard Robinson not able to race today for Diffusion Race Engineering, so they have chosen to take a reserve driver, rookie 98. And last but not least, in the team championship standings for both Group A and B, it is Strike Racetech. Not the results they've been looking for, hoping for a comeback through the last 6 or 7 rounds of this championship and trying to get back in it. So good luck to all the teams and drivers today. And now to look quickly over to Catalunya. Mandatory tire, of course, is the medium tire today. A little breezy, 17 kilometers an hour. Wind gusts up to 35, humidity at 48%, but no rain is forecast today. The precipitation percentage, as you can see, a solid, flat, 0%, 0.0 millimeters, zeros across the board for the rain, which is great. A little bit of cloud cover and great visibility. It is afternoon, so the preset weather today is S02. No changeable weather whatsoever, dry and pleasant with a few clouds. And that, folks, brings out all the information for you for today's race at Catalunya. We will be jumping back on track momentarily. About 15 minutes until the broadcast begins. 20 minutes we do have of qualifying to come, and that will be then followed by a beautiful, beautiful bit of racing. 60 minutes here at Catalunya. We're getting ready. We're all hyped up here in the commentary box. All the races are out on track, as you can hear in the background. Before we get into that, a couple of things from our sponsors. Alrighty, and we are back. I'm really looking forward to this one, everyone, so make sure you're buckled in. You've got a nice cup of tea, a beer, a pina colada, whatever takes your fancy. And we will be waiting another approximately 9 minutes now until the race begins. We have 20 minutes of qualifying and a 10-minute break for the drivers, and then we will be into our 60-minute race. So welcome in to everyone in the grandstands today. Hope you've got your caps on and you are putting on your sunscreen because it is sunny here at Catalunya today. Beautiful conditions out there for the drivers, and we'll be taking a little look around the grid as we follow on board some practice that the teams are doing. Initially, they're allowed about 45 minutes of practice before the race starts, and it is a tricky track, so we'll do a little bit of a track lap as well today. And of course, MotorMotion E-Series, just to mention very briefly, not only do we do the GT3 Championship, we also have our Supercar Series, our TCR Cup, and recently announced a new Formula 1 2023 series. So once the new Formula 1 game does appear on shelves, we will be looking to create a series around that as well. So if you want to get more information on MotorMotion E-Series, you can type in !MM in chat. It is a Australia and New Zealand sim racing league. And this GT3 Championship sponsored proudly by Player1 Sim Gear. Now, of course, if you do have any questions during the broadcast, feel free to ask me in chat, and I will do my best to answer. Of course, it is a little bit hard to hear what people are saying from the grandstand over here in the commentary box, but I'll do my absolute best to answer any and all questions as we go through this round 4. So, to take you quickly around the track, and we start off on the long pit straight. Now, it's nearly 700, nearly 800 meters. Very long straight, great opportunity to overtake into turn 1, called Elf. Tricky little corner. Goes straight into Renault, which is turn 2, and then to a long right-hander, turn 3. And that's then met after a little bit of a straight, not a very long straight, but another good opportunity to overtake, very wide at that point in the track. Into Repsol, turn 4. Over into Seat. And of course, I will try and get these names correct during the race. Seat is turn 5, leading into a slight left-hander, turn 6, and then a quite tricky corner. Probably one of the trickiest corners in the race is the curb that we've got to ride through that part of the track. Turn 7, turn 8. If you get it wrong, there are gravel traps on both sides, and you do not want to be running wide there. Catalunya is notorious for GT3 cars to spin, as we almost see a car spin on the grid right now. That leads up to a very fast right-hander, turn 9, Campsa, onto the second longest straight, second only to the pit lane straight, down into the biggest hairpin, well, I'd say second biggest hairpin actually of the track, turn 10, Lakaitsha. And that leads into turn 11, of course, a fast left-hander where you've got to ride the curbs a little bit. And then, of course, into Sabadell, turn 12. Europe car, turn 13, another tricky right-hander into the final chicane of the track. So this is the crab, it's known as. This is not the no chicane layout. The no chicane layout is being proposed for Formula 1 in the season, and that's going to be quite interesting, in the real Formula 1, I should say. But nonetheless, we are here at, quote-unquote, the crab, which does include the chicane, turns 14 and 15. There's a lot of curb riding to be done on that as well. Lots of potential for spins, and it's a really good place to set yourself up for a good run through turn 16, New Holland, which is onto the back straight, and that's a fast, very fast, in fact, right-hander. Probably the second fastest. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what the track conditions will allow and the tires will allow, but it's either Campsa at turn 9 or New Holland at turn 16 that is the fastest right-hander of the track. Turn 3 is definitely up there as well. Turn 3 is an absolute killer on the left-hand tires, both front and rear. On board right now with one of the Mercedes, and the Mercedes has not been particularly kind to its tires during the GT3 Championship. The better cars seem to have been the BMW and the Aston Martin V12, and actually also the F-Type Jaguar, which is favored by WTC-Racing. Now, the teams, of course, are locked into their car choice for the entire 10-round season. That does mean that they have to deal with the whoa, there we go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They have to deal with the on-track antics from all of these vehicles, as we're just checking who's out on track at the moment. Doesn't look like too many people. I believe we're on board now as Sean Parker, our privateer. Yes, 4.6 kilometers of very brutal turns. Most of these turns lead straight into other turns, and that could be quite the issue on tires. So we'll see exactly what will be happening as we get the notification from race control that we will be starting qualifying very soon. So I will start to talk a little bit more about that. 20 minutes you've got of qualifying, so you've got plenty of laps. That we will actually check what the kind of average lap time we are seeing here today, and it looks like, you know, somewhere in the low 140s and the 130s could be approximately where we are sitting. The soft tires obviously being used for qualifying. In qualifying, you're not allowed to use slipstream either. Make sure that we have a nice, fair, even qualifying between all the teams. In terms of strategy for the race, and we will talk about that more as we get through qualifying, but our guess at the moment is a two-stop strategy. You do have to use the medium tires, but they're not going to go the full half distance of the race. Most likely they're going to get somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes, depending on how much you use them. Like I said, tire wear is very high here. So it will be interesting to see exactly how the teams figure out their strategy. Of course, these drivers in silver and bronze have the ability to rely on the top drivers, as we do see contact there right at the end. That is qualifying starting, so 20 minutes beginning right now. And like I was saying about strategy, we'll probably see a couple of stints on the soft tires, because it is going to be significantly faster around here. But you will have, of course, significantly more degradation on the tires as well. So my guess at the moment on strategy is between two options. You try and run long on the mediums. You could do 2 stints on the mediums, potentially, and run to the end of the race. Or you could be looking at a 3-stop strategy involving 2 stints on the softs and 1 on the mediums. Now, I get the feeling that most of the teams are going to start on the mediums. That would be the optimum strategy, though you can get quite a lot of track position starting on the softs if everyone else around you is on the mediums. So going to be a challenging call for them today. And another reason for that is the very nice overtaking nature of this track. Lots of opportunities to dive up the inside. You don't have to be very far behind at all to actually take a dive through some of these corners. We see them now make their way on their outlaps through seat. Sort of great opportunity to overtake there. Diving on the inside, it does sort of get a little bit tighter on the exit of that corner. So you do have to be a bit careful, looking for the switcheroo that can happen from the person you've just overtaken. But if you get it right and put yourself right in the middle of the apex and don't run wide, you can secure a nice overtake during that section. You see in the lead there, I believe that is Jeff Bruin leading us down on the outlap, followed by Matt Kutscher, Dylan Scarborough Motorsports. Rookie 98 behind them for Diffusion Race Engineering, our reserve driver, the first reserve driver we've had in the Group B lobby this season. He'll be looking to put on a good show, potentially get picked up by a team next season. Of course, the team only earns 50% of the points, so it can be a bit of a risk. We don't exactly know why Richard was not able to make it to the race today, but regardless of the reason, we will miss him on track. He's put in great performances in the last few races. Be good to see him continue that run of form as they do come across the line, starting their hot laps. By the judge of it, we're going to probably get somewhere between 9 and 10 hot laps per car. They will probably have the pit, and we will be keeping a close eye as well on all of their tires, because most of them, I believe, except for Chops, our privateer, who might have accidentally got out on the mediums, whoops, they will all be on the softs. So this will give us an idea of the kind of stint length we're looking at. Just on board with Dylan Scarborough at the moment. We will get this switching round, go on board with Tim Piers. Strike Racetech, and the Mercedes not going to be good on his tires today, I don't think. I think we'll see Mercedes opt for a 3-stop strategy today. Even cars like the Porsche, which is definitely not good on its tires as well, that could be looking at a mandatory sort of a 3-stop strategy. If you don't get the tire life right, you will end up losing a lot of time in the pit, because we've got a very long pit straight. You're going to lose a ton of time during your pit stop on your in and out lap. as we see Wade Rushton getting very sideways behind Tim. And the pit entry actually starts before the main straight as well, so you don't lose a lot of speed on the in lap, but the out lap is very costly because you rejoin about 60% of the way down the pit straight. And that could be a bit frustrating. Bit of action on track here. Now, qualifying is important. It is important in qualifying that things are kept nice and clean. That's very, very important. Not allowed to use the slipstream there, which does appear to be happening. A little bit cheeky there from Matt Kutscher, getting a pull down. Sorry, that is Matt Kutscher, getting a pull down the straight by Dylan Scarborough. A little bit cheeky there. They're not actually allowed to do that. Current fastest lap, Matthew Joinson at 45.7. Now, I think we're going to be seeing some 44s today, maybe even a 43. If someone can put it all together, that's probably one of the more complicated things to do at this track, is put it all together. Complicated series of corners, 16 turns to deal with. Hot conditions as well. And these guys will be looking to get rid of as much fuel as possible so they can go on a nice fast lap. Some contact there. That is not cricket at all. You don't want to see any contact between cars during qualifying. I believe that was Matt Kutscher there, who has got ahead now of Dylan Scarborough, but not in the cleanest way possible. A little bit cheeky there from the Mercedes driver of Black Rose Racing. You've got to keep it clean during qualifying. Can be reported for these, and penalty points can be applied post-race if someone deems it significant enough to make a race incident report. Now, I am a little bit unsure on whether the qualifying session can be reported as well, but I believe if anything super cheeky happens, we will be able to see some penalties applied. But nonetheless, I don't think anything malicious there from Matt Kutscher at all. But you've got to be careful. You've got to keep some distance between you and the other competitors. We do have a mixed grid today. So we have the Silver Championship and the Bronze Championship, Pro-Am and Am respectively. So you do have to bear that in mind as you're going through your laps. Who are you ahead of? Who do you have behind you as well? Make sure that you're not holding someone up unnecessarily or getting held up. It's quite important to make sure you're looking out for that during qualifying, as we do see in second place Dean van der Zandt puts that F-type Jag up into second place. Front row start. Jeff Bruin doing very well at the moment. Squirrel 18 in third place. As into the pits comes our privateer Sean Parker. Yeah, I thought he made a mistake there. He's left the pit lane on mediums, everyone, and that is not the tire that you want to be using for qualifying. You want to be absolutely maxing that out. And on board now with Chris White currently. See how he does into Elf, turn 1. So it looks like the bronze category drivers will be setting times in the high 40s, maybe even the low 50s, depending on the car. We did have a physics and simulation change recently in the GT7 platform that we are gaming on today, and that has put some cars further ahead, some further behind. So going very wide there at turn 4. You really want to hug the apex at turn 4. It's worth a lot of time on exit. If you can get on the throttle early, you do have to sweep over to the right-hand side and open up this corner. And unfortunately, Chris White not quite getting that right. All the Silver Championship drivers will be eager to keep themselves ahead of the bronze category today, but looks like the nature of this track is going to split the field a little bit between the silver and bronze categories. Do see Jeff go into the 46s. That's a good lap there. Matt Kutscher also able to get into the 46s. 47.108 for Dylan Scarborough. He's been flying in that Porsche 911 RSR for Dylan Scarborough. Well, I should say Scarborough Motorsport, though it is his team. So Dylan Scarborough Motorsport is an appropriate name to use. We do see some guys coming into the pit lane. So far, I haven't actually seen Karma Foster and Monica Camilleri. So let's go and find them on track at the moment. Ball with Hellblazer at the moment. And there she is in the beautiful pink NED Racing live-read Aston Martin V12. Now, I think the Aston was one of the cars that did suffer a little bit from the changes in balance of performance. So for those of you who don't know, balance of performance is something that is applied in the GT3 Championship through the game to ensure that all the cars perform at approximately the same times and have similar levels of aero and similar levels of performance. Very important for good, clean, fair racing, which is what MotorMotion E-Series is all about. We've got 12 minutes left in this qualifying. Things will start to heat up soon. Ricky Rick putting in some good times at the moment. He's into the 46s. But to be competitive, you will need to be in the 45s. And Matthew Joynson in the Porsche, absolutely flying on a 45.136. That's about a second and a half to 2 seconds clear of the rest of the Silver Championship field. So he's on track right now to get a pole position in qualifying, putting himself right on the front row of the grid. Rolling starts here for the race. So you don't have to worry about grid start positions or anything like that. That'll give him a nice clean run. Whoever starts on first and second will get a nice clean run down into turn 1. No antics, hopefully. A penalty picked up by Matt Cooke. If you run wide here, folks, you will get a penalty. The white lines are pretty strict at Catalunya. The stewards are going to have a keen eye on all the cars today, making sure they are abiding by those track limits. Where you see a WTCR car there pulled off to the right-hand side of the track. Tim Pears now trying to put a push lap in. He's dipped into the 47s, which is a very good lap for the Bronze Championship. He'll need to find a little bit more time. So currently, for the Silver Championship, qualifying first at the moment is Matthew Joynson. And in second place, Team van der Zandt. He's only been able to put in a 45.9, not able to get that F-Type Jag any further up. There's a big gap between him and first place, nearly 0.7 of a second. I think that Porsche is really working some magic. Very hard on the tires, as you can see. 5 laps in, you already used half of your tires. That is going to make for a very, very tricky couple of stints in the race if they do opt for the soft tires. I've mentioned before that we have potential strategy for medium tires here today. 2 stints on the mediums. Medium tires will last a lot longer, but you will be going slower on track. So you're trying to make up time to the pit stops that will be taking place around you. So at the moment, for first place in qualifying at the moment for the bronze category, 5th place overall, so he's put himself on the 3rd row of the grid, is Marty McFardy, still in Scarborough. The Porsche, as I said before, is looking mighty here at Catalunya. We do have a car off track. Looks like a bit of damage being taken, or just an innocent spin there by Troy Bretnell. Certainly not ideal for him. And our reserve driver for Diffusion Race Engineering, rookie 98, dipped into the 47s as well early on in his qualifying. Opted to go for some fresh racing soft tires. He'll need to drop that down a little bit to be competitive in the bronze category for Diffusion Race Engineering. They're looking to claw back some points in the team standings at this round, followed by his teammate, Hellblazer. Karma Foster, she had a great round out at Bar, but not the race that she wanted to have. Unfortunately, just not finding any pace in that Aston V12, and it may be looking similar today at Catalunya for this car. The team not going to be happy with the car's performance at the moment. 47.948, all she can manage right now. But I believe we will see a low fuel run from her in the next few laps. 8 minutes to go in qualifying, everyone. Stay tuned. Things are going to heat up a lot in the next few minutes. Putting a lot of load into that front left tire. This is what I'm talking about, everyone. Catalunya can be very heavy on tire degradation if you are forcing the use of that mechanical grip. These GT3 cars have an incredibly large amount of aero, and you do need to rely on that if you can. But the low-speed corners, you'll be fighting with the mechanical grip of the car. Dylan Scarborough getting a little bit squiggly on exit out of turn 10. Bit of traffic in the mid-pack at the moment. But it is a sunny day here at Catalunya, and I have to admit I am looking forward to this race very much. No matter what happens in qualifying, the races here in Group B have been heating up like nothing you can believe. Spa was absolutely unbelievable in round 3. Monza was maybe a little more sedate, but the more complicated and tricky tracks do seem to split the silver and bronze category drivers quite significantly, and we are seeing some of that happen today as well. Monica Camilleri up into 5th place. Super VT 2000, she's done very well, as we do see some pit stops happening from our privateer, Sean Parker. Hellblazer needs to get himself ahead of that Porsche of Dylan Scarborough if he can. That's Aiden Sampson. Doing good right now, putting in some good times, a high 146 for him. But as you can see, there's a significant difference between, you know, the abilities of these cars today, and whether it's a preparation thing or an actual car performance thing is probably up for debate. But 1.8 seconds between him and the top spot at the moment. Wade Rush now winner last time out in 10th spot at the moment. Ricky Rick in 9th spot behind Aiden, who we're on board with right now. We're going to just jump into the cockpit for now and have a little look on board, see how these BMWs are handling the situation. It's Rookie 98 getting a little bit unstable on those curves. Yeah, good downshift there. Very smooth driving from Aiden Sampson. He's proven himself to be incredibly competent with the BMW. Both the Diffusion Race Engineering chaps held on to 3rd and 4th spot for a good chunk of Spa last time round, and they had previously had a very, very good result at Monza as well. So looking to continue their run of good form. Rookie 98 moving out of the way of his teammate on a faster lap at the moment. And overall, I'd say that BMW is looking pretty mighty on its tyre wear. Now, it may not be the fastest car in a straight line or through the corners, but it certainly does well on its tyres. And these are the performance aspects we're going to be looking at today. You know, the Porsches are fast, they're putting in great lap times, but will they be able to maintain their tyres during the race? Similar story for the Mercedes drivers. And as we stay on board with these guys for now, last 5 minutes, the 3/4 distance of qualifying. It's coming up to the end now. 45.5 there from Dean van der Zandt in the F-Type Jag for WTCR. He's done a very good lap there. Still 0.4 off the leader, though. So to quickly bring you the information about which cars and which teams are combined on board right now with Diffusion Race Engineering, who have opted for a BMW M6. Gridline Racing have opted for BMW M6 as well. Strike Racetech, you can see ahead there, the red Mercedes. The AMG GT3 car there. Our privateer has opted for the AMG Mercedes as well. And Black Rose Racing, who have a very similar livery. On board Matt Kutscher getting a penalty down the long straight. That is where the penalty line is. It's between turn 9 and 10. Second longest straight of the race track, and it's not a great place to lose time there. It really is not. Compromises you into turn 10. It is a slow corner, but you're going to get overtaken into that almost certainly. The dive bombs will come from a mile behind you if you are slow into turn 10. So Black Rose Racing, as we were on board with now, Mercedes AMG for them. WTCR Racing in the F-Type Jaguar GT3 car. Scarborough Motorsport opting for the Porsche 911 RSR. Very fast, but very high degradation on both fuel and tyres. You do see the Rookie 98 for Diffusion Race Engineering dropping into the low 46s there. That's a very good time from him. That'll put him right up in the Bronze Championship. Towards the bottom of the field we go, and Troy Britnell for Black Rose Racing not setting any really good lap times there at the moment. A 47.6 is best at the moment. Chris White behind him. Another, well, almost a WTCR sandwich. We've seen this a lot this season. And he has not been able to put in a time better than a 49 today, unfortunately. He'll still be pushing hard, trying to find some time. Tim Pears, roadie in 13th place at the moment for Strike Racetech. And Karma Foster in 12th place and not able to find the time that she needs there. The bottom of the Silver Championship, it is Mad Rick for Strike Racetech. That Mercedes not finding the time it needs to. He's only done 3 laps in qualifying so far, so maybe some issues with the car in the pit lane. Not ideal for them. I think it's going to be a bit of a mixed grid here today, everyone. We're going to see some Bronze Championship drivers starting ahead of the Silver Championship drivers. It's all going to come down to strategy. It really is, because if you're good on the softs, you want to be using the softs more often, but you have to use the mediums today as well. Mandatory tire. And if you're fast on the mediums and bad on tire wear, fast on the softs as well, then if you're bad on tire wear, you really want to be going for mediums tires. And of course that immediately sorts out your mandatory tire obligation, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you will be sitting ahead on track in terms of position. So those racing softs taking a beating on the left-hand side. No surprise there. Most of these corners are right-handers. The fast quarters in Catalunya are all right-handers, in fact. Wade Rushton, at the moment, doing well in that BMW. So let's jump through the grid. We've got 45 seconds to go, so everyone will be on their last laps now. In first place, at the moment, another 4 seconds ahead, and we have almost dipped into the 44s. As he gets almost sideways, Matthew Joinson with the car control, keeping it on track. Not mowing any lawns here at Catalunya today. Good on him. 45.0, very good. In the pits is Dean van der Zandt. I don't know if he's coming out for another lap. Unfortunately, I don't think he's actually going to get round to put in another fast lap. Yes, he will unfortunately not even get past his out lap. Third place, a very good lap from Monica Camilleri, 46 flat. Putting that Aston Martin V12 up into third place, second row of the grid. Great job from her so far. We'll see if that holds. Matt Kutscher able to snag fourth place at the moment of 46.1, so very close between those two, but even closer is rookie 98, our bronze category reserve driver. And he's put in a brilliant 46.2, as I mentioned before. That is going to sit him right up at the top of the grid. Well done to him. As we do come across the line, this is the final lap for all his races. Jeff Bruin getting squeezed out of the top 5, now in 6th place, followed by a privateer who's picked up a penalty on this last lap. Not ideal from him, unfortunately. Sean Parker will be very frustrated with himself. So right now, rookie 98 leading the Bronze Championship in terms of qualifying. Then we've got Wade Rushton in 2nd place for the Bronze Championship. 3rd place goes to Dylan Scarborough at the moment, able to cruise around this track in that Porsche, burning up a lot of tires. Low fuel run here. Can he improve? We'll stay on board with him and see what he can do. Aiden Sampson behind him in 10th overall, Silver Championship driver. Then in 11th place and in the pits, it is Mad Rick. And he improved. Let's see if Dylan can make... Oh, and Dylan, what a lap from Dylan Scarborough. And he takes 1st place in the Bronze Championship qualifying. Congratulations to him by 19/100ths of a second. Fantastic result from him there. And most of these races are now out and done. Can Jeff Bruin do anything to get himself above those 2 bronze category drivers? No, he can't. 7th place, so he's been pushed out to the 4th row of the grid. That's going to be frustrating. Sean Parker, our privateer, also not able to put in the lap times. He couldn't get into the 45s. He couldn't even get into the low 46s. Very unfortunate for him. 9th place, it is Wade Rushton. Aiden Sampson, another silver category driver, down the order. Same with Mad Rick, who's in the pits. Carla Foster, done well there for 12th place, but she'll need to find some places during the race. Tim Piers, 13th place for him, an unlucky number, unfortunately. Strike Racetech not finding the luck at the moment in the GT3 Championship. 14th place and in the pits, Troy Britnell. And then Flighty Whitey, Chris White from WTCR rounding out the grid today. Well, that was quite the exciting finish there. And Dylan Scarborough putting in a real performance. Last 2 races, he has been absolutely flying in that Porsche. I mentioned earlier that the Porsche has become very, very strong in a straight line and out of corners. It's a very, very powerful car. We'll see if they can hold on during the race. That was their Achilles heel last time round. Both drivers for Dylan Motorsport, for Scarborough Motorsport, losing out to the tire wear and the degradation of that Porsche. And that almost gave Dean van der Zandt the win, but Mercedes driver Sean Parker was able to win out last time round, so he'll be starting quite far down the grid today. So the big winners, in fact, are rookie 98 and Dylan Scarborough, 1st and 2nd in the Bronze Championship. Fantastic job from those 2 drivers, and we will take a very quick look at the race results now before we jump into our 10-minute break, which has started now. So make sure you go and grab a coffee, refill your tea, whatever it suits your fancy. We'll be running a very short advert right now, and a message from our sponsors. We'll be back with the results in about 3 minutes.
Level up your sim racing experience with Player1 Sim Gear. Shop the biggest brands and the best range today. Player1 Sim Gear, official sponsors of MotorMotion E-Series.
Welcome back to the grid, folks, and we are getting geared up for our 60-minute race here at Catalunya. I'm really looking forward to this one. The grid has been mixed up. We had some great finishes from Dylan Scarborough and the rookie 98. Finishing ahead of some of their Silver Championship counterparts. And for all of you who are now in the grandstands, welcome in. I really hope that you will have a fantastic time tonight. And I'll be bringing you the action live here from the commentary box at Catalunya. Of course, my name is George Cooke, and I'm also known as Crazy Good Kung Fu. If you're watching live on Twitch, we do have some commands that you can use. !MM for MotorMotion E-Series information. !P1 for P1 Sim Gear. And we do also have !Group A if you want to check out the Platinum and Gold Championships. So 4 divisions in this GT3 Championship. Platinum, Gold, Silver, and Bronze. And we are here covering the Silver and Bronze categories today in Group B. And thank you very much to everyone in chat who's been commenting, following, and doing all the good things that we do love as streamers and commentators. Lovely to have you here at the grandstands at a sunny, sunny Catalunya. Make sure you have stretched, and make sure you have posture checked, because you're going to be glued to the screen for the next 60 minutes as we head very shortly into our race. I think we've got about 5 minutes left. We will see. We'll get the call from race control, I'm sure, momentarily. And for your viewing pleasure, we will just jump through very quickly the results. I'll probably just jump through them over and over and over as we do hear the cars get started out on the grid. I'm hearing some motion happen. And 60 minutes is going to be quite intense. A couple of strategy options here. The tire wear is very high. So you will be looking at either a 2-stop on the mediums, trying to extend them to 30 minutes each. The medium tires are mandatory, so you have to use them regardless of your strategy. And the other strategy option available to the teams today will be a 3-stop, probably using the softs a couple of times, though we did see the degradation on those very, very high. So it will be interesting to see what the teams and the drivers do decide. Adjusting for the conditions on track, humidity is a little bit up there, but that's not going to negate the air temperature and the track temperature, which is very, very high at the moment here at Catalunya. But for all you in the grandstands, with your sunscreen on, make sure you've got your caps ready, your brollies out if you need them. And we will see exactly what goes down in this amazing race very, very soon. And of course, our GT3 Championship, as we saw moments ago, sponsored by Player1 Sim Gear. You can check them out at www.p1simgear.com.au. And they do all sorts of sim gear for all sorts of simulators, I should say. So, going on track very, very soon. I don't think we've got anyone on track right now. I've got some hellos in the chat from all the teams. And as you can see there, we've got a little bit of a crosswind. Going into turn 1, 4.2 meters a second. It's not very strong, but it's strong enough that it'll compromise some of the aerodynamic capabilities of these cars. And as I was mentioning earlier, one of the other things that is can be quite problematic here is using the mechanical grip. Those left tires, both the front and the rear, going to take an absolute beating. Most of the fast corners, and that's turn 3, 9, and 16, are going to absolutely eat up your front and rear left tires. So you've got to look after them. And there we go from race control. 5 seconds until the final start. Welcome into the grandstands. What's up? Get ready. Engines are starting, and we're about to line up on the grid for our rolling start here. As we go on board, let me get all of this beautiful information on display. Oh, get rid of this stuff there. And here we go. The rolling start procedure. Going to start momentarily for round 4 at Catalunya, the MotorMotion E-Series GT3 Championship. Buckle in, get ready. The lights will go out momentarily as our leader jumps across the line to start the race, and green lights. We are a go here at Catalonia, and that Porsche has just absolutely disappeared off in the distance. What is going on? He's already 4 seconds ahead. This is a little bit unusual here, folks, but Matthew Joynson's just gone like an absolute bullet out of the front gate. Followed by Dean van der Zaan. He's already pulled out 2 seconds to Monica Camilleri. She's followed closely by Matt Kutscher, who's already side-by-side with Dylan Scarborough. Through turn 3 they go. Will there be a switcheroo of position? Dylan Scarborough is holding the inside line into turn 4. Will he be able to hold that position from the faster Matt Kutsch? Opting for the mediums to start off with. Right behind them is rookie 98, our reserve driver for Diffusion Race Engineering today, followed by Jeff Bruin, who's under attack by Chops, our privateer, and rookie taking the inside curb there of turn 5. It's unbelievable in the mid-pack here. Matthew Joynson just disappearing off into the distance. I'm still just kind of amazed at what happened on that race start. We're going to have to go back and have a look at that. Some action still happening, and Matt Kutscher does get ahead of Dylan Scarborough. They're going to go side by side now. Rookie 98 and him. Contact. There's contact between rookie 98 and Dylan Scarborough right at the start there. Turn 9 into the straight towards turn 10. That gives Jeff Bruin in the 6th place now. Oh, and there's contact once again. Wade Rushton getting involved in the action. And it's all going chaotic at turn 10. Oh, we're kind of expecting that to happen, but not like this. Not like this. Okie dokie. These guys will get settled in for the second lap of this race, and what a banger opening lap we have had here today. Aiden Sampson holding on to 9th place. Looks like the big loser in all this was Sean Parker, not going off to a good start. Karma Foster in 12th place. And behind them, we've got Brits Lightning and then Chris White ringing up the end of the field. But across the line for the first lap, it is Matthew Joynson, 6 seconds ahead on the mediums. What is going on? That Porsche is an absolute bullet. That is unbelievable. A 5.5 second penalty already for Dean van der Zaan. That's probably at the turn 16 there. Very easy to run wide. Now Monica Camilleri getting very close behind them. Only 0.5 between them. Matt Kutscher looking to take advantage of this situation. He wants to get ahead of Dean van der Zaan. Put some pressure on him. I can't see anyone so far on the soft option tyres. Rookie 98 still getting some pressure on him from Dylan Scarborough down into Repsol. Will there be an overtake move? No. Thinks better of it, but that Porsche of Marty McFarty is going to be absolutely lightning quick on these short straights. A little bit of latency going on. That's not ideal either. Jeff Bruin here. He's consolidated that 7th place position, not where he wants to be, but also on the medium tyre. Wade Rushton behind them. Rushfire, our driver of the day last time out at Spa. Let's see what he can do. He's being followed by Aiden Sampson now. Some good driving going on. It was not very clean at turn 10. Some antics going on. I suspect we will see some appeals post-race for the antics into that first lap at turn 10. We'll see if there's any antics going into the turn 10 now. Matt Kuchar now ahead of rookie 98. He did well to overtake the bronze category driver. So leading the bronze championship right now, it's rookie 98. Leading the silver championship, it is Matthew Jointson, the Bullet. I'm going to call him for now. The Porsche is absolutely flying away from the field, and he's on the medium tires. I can't quite get my head around it, folks. Nonetheless, great start for him and Dylan Scarborough's Motorsport. That team will be absolutely loving this. A 48 from him, and rookie gets ahead of Matt Kuchar. A mistake there by Matt Kuchar out of turn 14 and 15. Not going to set him up well, and looks like Dylan Scarborough is going to be taking advantage of this. We see off in the distance what is going on. We are going to go briefly on board. A 0.5-second penalty for rookie 98 there for Diffusion Race Engineering. Going for a wide line into turn 1. Can he make a switcheroo happen? There's some fighting going on in front of him. That's going to compromise Matt Kuchar into turn 3. See what he can do. Will he go for a switcheroo? No. Kuchar manages to hold the inside line there very well. Forces rookie onto the outside. A little bit further down, we've got Hellblazer with Mad Rick behind him. Right in his rear mirror, as you can see. In the privateer of Sean Parker, right on hot on the heels of both of these two as well. Looks like Karma Foster behind them has managed to pick up a couple of places there. Great start for her. She's going to be looking to consolidate that with some good use of strategy. She is on the soft, so there is our first soft runner. Doing very, very well. A little bit of a pack building up here in the bottom 5. Very interesting. And Dylan has one out for that fight. Going on for 4th place. He'll be looking ahead. 1.7 seconds behind Monica Camilleri. He's also on the racing soft, so that could explain a little bit of his early speed here at Catalunya. Matt Kuchar losing out on that. Setting a Sector 2 best here is Dylan Scarborough. I was about to call him Dylan McFarty. That would have been very rude, I feel. Don't want to commentators curse anyone here today, but some action on the first 3 laps of this race. We're only 5 minutes in so far, and already an incredible amount of action here at this very, very spicy, Spanish level spicy, taco spicy, excuse my stereotypes, but nonetheless very spicy Group A. Another mistake there at turn 14-15. No, it was in fact contact between Matt Kuchar and rookie. The rookie 98 redressing the position. He realized he made a bad error there, hitting Matt Kuchar, who is a little bit slower into turn 14-15 than that BMW behind him. And nonetheless, pressure now. Jeff Bruin is feeling it. He's feeling the spice at the back of his throat, looking for that glass of milk, but he's not going to find any respite here as Mad Rick makes the move down the inside into turn 1. Can he make it stick? He's now on the outside of turn 2. No, he's right behind him. And Jeff Bruin doing some great defensive driving there to hold on to 7th place. And this pack of cars, here we go. It is absolutely popping off here in the top 10 between 7th and 12th. The grid getting closer and closer, some on the mediums, some on the softs. Some incredible action going on right now in this race, and these back markers putting on a show for us here at Catalunya. It is a very, very tight field at the moment. Our privateer Sean Parker looking to try and get the one up on Aiden Sampson just ahead of him. And in the back there, it is Karma Foster in 11th place, looking to take advantage of this situation. She knows that if there's contact, she's in the perfect spot for an overtake. And speaking of overtakes, coming through turn 9, Campster onto the long straight. Slipstream is allowed during the race, and they will be using it in full effect as they fly down towards the killer turn 10. Will there be any antics? No, Mad Rick still trying to put a nose in front of Jeff Bruin, not able to do so. Aiden Sampson holding back Sean Parker, doing very well there. Getting a bit close, Karma Foster looking at the back of our privateer, not able to make a move there at the moment. We jump back of the field a little bit. Troy Britnell fighting with Chris White and Wade Rushton. Looks like Wade Rushton might have had a little bit of an issue as we go on board with him. And oh, the lag there, not doing us any favors for viewing pleasure, but nonetheless, Rushfire at the back. That's a terrible start for him. I'm not quite sure what happened, so apologies for missing that on-track action. Do go on board now with Dean van der Zaan up the top of the field. Matthew Jointson, the Bullet, setting fastest sector times on the mediums. Absolutely flying through turn 4 there, Repsol. Goes nice and wide, good line from him. We'll come back to him later as Monica Camilleri for NED Racing now under pressure from Dylan Scarborough, who's flying. He might not be a bullet, but he's certainly a very, very high-moving projectile in that Porsche 911, putting a lot of pressure on Monica Camilleri. Will she be able to hold them off? Only 0.3 behind them. They're going through turns 7 and 8 now. Very tricky section to get right. Get it right, you can get a good launch out to turn 9. High-speed right-hander onto the back straight. You want to be avoiding. Oh, getting onto the gravel there. Both of them are. You want to get a good run onto this straight here because it opens up the slipstream and opens up the dive bomb. Will Dylan send it? Let's see. Behind them, it looks like Matt Kutscher has solidified 5th place. Rookie 98 in 6th place. Some great racing going on from all these folks. Really, really good stuff. And Madrick has managed to stay ahead. Oh, and get ahead, I should say, of Jeff Bruin, as we do have some contact there. Karma Foster getting a hit there or making a mistake. Unfortunately, we had a bit of latency on the stream. My apologies for that. Hopefully we get to see what has gone on there. Maybe a little bit later on in the race. We'll see. No redressing needed at the moment, but 10th spot for Karma Foster. She's doing very well. Already got herself up 3 places in this race. Mad Ricky Rick, the Strike Race Tech, looking for a good points victory today in the Silver Championship. He needs to claw back some points for Strike Race Tech. If he can't do that today, then when will these points come for that team? Not a great start for them. 32 points overall in the team standings, and they need to start getting some good race victories. Madrick involved in a bunch of contact in the previous races and some unforced errors, putting him down the grid in the last few races. But here we go. He's in 7th place at the moment, looking to get up into the top 5 maybe today. We'll see. He's got a couple of bronze category drivers ahead of him. We know that he's faster than those guys. But will he be able to make it happen on track? Jeff Bruin in the BMW here. He's currently 5th place in the standings in the Silver Championship. The BMW looking pretty solid around here. He might already be running a little bit of a lower fuel map. Might be saving some of those tires for later on in this race. 1/6 distance here, folks. 10 minutes through, 50 minutes to go at Catalonia as we see Madrick. One wide, very wide through turn 7. Jeff Bruin keeping an eye on the back rear bumper of that Mercedes. If he can make something happen, then he absolutely will. As we go on board with Monica. Behind the Matt Kutscher. Monica's teammate, Karma Foster. She's doing very well at the moment. Got 1.5 seconds to the car behind. So she's finding herself in a little bit of no man's land, or no woman's land, I should say. You can see that front left already starting to drop off in the softs. So only 5 laps through, and you're almost 50% of your tire wear. That's definitely going to be a cause for concern for Karma Foster. She'll have to find a way to manage that. So we do jump back on board. 3rd place now for Dylan Scarborough. He's managed to find a way around Monica Camilleri and pulling out a bit of a gap as well. Now Monica's not under any pressure right now. She can race her own race on the mediums. She's not worried about Dylan getting ahead of her, despite him being a bronze category driver. Racing softs on a Porsche equals bullet, okay? Now, the real bullet today, will the real bullet please stand up? And that person standing up in the crowd is, in fact, Matthew Jointson, 6.5 seconds ahead of the field. His racing medium's looking nice and healthy, and he's got a healthy lead to deal with here. That'll play into his strategy call today. I would say that he's probably going to go for the one stop here. He might only decide to use the mediums. He's got the pace in that Porsche, and he clearly knows this track very, very well, putting in a good performance. In the distance is Dean van der Zandt, his main competitor in this race so far. And Dylan Scarborough even making up some time on the medium running Dean van der Zandt. So we'll see. Fuel and tire strategy are going to come into this race in a massive, massive way. We're barely up to quarter distance in this race. 3 minutes to go till we're at 15 minutes through. 1 second's the gap between Matt Kutscher and Diffusion Race Engineering's Rookie 98, a reserve driver. And just to repeat myself from earlier, half points for whatever position Rookie 98 finishes today. That's how the reserve drivers work. Richard Robinson, the normal driver in bronze category for Diffusion Race Engineering, not able to make it to Catalonia today. Missed his flight. Possibly had the flu. We're not quite sure. Hopefully it wasn't the Spanish flu. I'm sure it wasn't. But nonetheless, doing well for his team, the reserve driver is. And I'm sure that'll be turning a few heads on the pit lane, as he is ahead of several of the silver category drivers. Now the mediums on the Mercedes. This is interesting. Starting to drop off a little bit. That could really, really mix things up today. They won't be wanting to run too far on the softs if you're in a Mercedes, and I think that's going to apply for the Porsches as well. Probably going to be trying to look for making them last out to 30 minutes. You do a one-stop strategy here. So 2 stints, as I was talking about earlier. Do 2 options in strategy today. You've got medium, medium, 2 stints, 1 stop, or you've got mediums and softs. So if your car can handle the tire wear, and it is brutal, you will try and find someone who is running on the softs, and I believe we've got Marty McFarty up top here. He's running the softs. Yeah, he's only made it 7 laps. And those softs are wearing out. He will start sliding around the track. Monica will be loving that idea. And she'll want to finish ahead of Dylan. But even the rear left of the Porsche. See, this is what I'm talking about. The Porsche is very, very fast. It's a bullet on track. Great on corner entry. Great on corner exit. Great down the straight. Good top speed on the car. But you've got the downside of high tire degradation and high fuel usage. And that will cause some headaches for the Scarborough Motorsport drivers today in the Group B lobby, which is where we are right now. Now, jumping down the field, we do still have some action here. Now, it looks like Jeff Bruin was able to get back ahead of Mad Rick. So that Mercedes still suffering a little bit. We'll check the tires on Mercedes there. Actually running okay on the medium tires. Silver Championship drivers are able to handle the tire degradation a little bit better than some others. And Mad Rick doing a very, very good job at the moment. He really needs to consolidate a top 8 position, currently in 8th place, so he's doing exactly what he needs to do today. But he'll need to keep that going for the next 45 minutes of this race. Aiden Sampson behind them, the BMW, doing well on its tires, pretty much equal to most of the other cars on the grid, bar the Mercedes and Porsche. So things starting to spread out on the field as we head into quarter race distance here at Catalunya. I can start to rest my voice after the action we saw in the first 5 or 6 laps of this race. Lap 1 was absolutely nuts. The start by Matthew Joynson there, still completely baffling me. Completely unsure as to what happened on the grid there, but he absolutely flew off the starting line as he was accelerating from miles behind the pit lane start there. So I don't quite know what's gone on, but Dylan Scarborough, his teammate, setting the fastest lap so far, a 1:46.981. So we're still about 1.8 seconds off qualifying pace here, or ultimate qualifying pace, I should say. That will be on the racing softs. And as you can see here, on board with Karma Foster, she's been trying desperately to keep hold of that 10th place, doing a good job, staring down the rear bumper of Aiden Sampson, who's a silver category driver. And the unfortunate thing, though, that Aston has chewed up the front left. Now, I suspect this may be down to driver style ever so slightly. We did see in qualifying that Karma Foster was really overheating that front left, and you can see the result of that. She's going to have to come in for a pit stop reasonably soon. Question is, does she go into the mediums and sort of sacrifice a bit of track position, or does she go, getting a little bit sideways there, or does she go into another soft pit strategy? We'll see, but she's only at half fuel. 8 laps done so far, coming across the line for her 9th now. The question is, if you can only do 10 laps on the softs, where will that put you in terms of the strategy? I suspect that automatically puts you onto the 2-stop strategy. So 3 stints in total, 1 on the mediums, 2 on the softs. Wouldn't make any sense to do medium, medium, and soft. That would be a silly strategy to use. And on board now briefly with our 7th and 8th place runners, and Jeff Bruin doing a good job so far. He qualified 7th place, but not able to find too much pace with his BMW today at Catalunya. We know that after last time out at Spa, he was pretty enthralled with his race results, and Gridline Racing were patting him on the back solidly. Very proud of his race last time out, 5th place, so he did have some unforced errors. He actually had the potential of a top 3 finish last time at Spa, but not able to capitalize on his fantastic start to that race. And he's maintaining his positions at the moment, so you've got to give it to him. That is good enough at the moment, but he'll want to be getting up the grid. Let's see if the strategies will start to mix things up. The soft pitters, anyone who started on the soft tires, the pit window for them is now open. Medium runners will be looking at another 10 to 13 minutes before the pit window really opens up for the mediums. He could actually be running a lot longer on the mediums. But there is actually another option that's opening itself up right now. So a third strategy option here would be to run the mediums to 40 or 45 minutes and then take the soft tires for a short, fast push stint at the end. So now we're up to 3 strategy options here. The strategy is evolving quite rapidly on track. It's going to make for some great racing and some very interesting strategy calls coming up in the next 20 or 30 minutes. So stay tuned, everyone. We're not going away anytime soon. No adverts on stream for the next hour at the very least. Of course, the race will be well over by the time we have another advert. And I thank everyone who is in the grandstands today. A hot day at Catalunya. I hope you're all having a good cold drink, relaxing with a beer, a pina colada, or something without spirits maybe. Maybe a lemon light bitters for those of you who like to stay sober during your race viewing. But nonetheless, I hope you're all enjoying. And of course, do feel free to ask any questions in chat, and I will try and get my ears out of the commentary box to hear what you're saying all the way from the grandstands. As you can see in the background, a lot of people choosing to go and grab some drinks already. The heat is definitely going to make a difference in the grandstand and also on track. Medium tires for Tim Pears. They're getting pretty worn out at the moment. Behind him is Wade Rushton, still trying to recover from a little bit of an incident earlier on in the race. Chris White in 13th place, holding onto the cursed position. The other cursed position held by Rookie 98. 6th place for all the Super GT viewers out there. Racing mediums getting beaten up, so I think the speed that Rookie 98 is showing may be coming at the expense of some mechanical grip. That's not how you can't do that forever in these kinds of races. You've got to start using the aero. There's a driving style and technique difference there between really slamming it through the corners. Some of these drivers looking to turn that steering wheel quite heavily during these corners, and that will of course put a lot of pressure on the racing tires that they are allowed to use today. Going a little bit wide, very wide, very close there was the Rookie 98 to that green strip, the darker green strip through turn 3, not where you want to be. Matt Kutcher starting to run a bit wide as well. Let's check on his tires. Yeah, the medium's going off. So everyone now starting to lose a lot of grip on the front lefts and the rear lefts. And that's going to make all of these right-handers very, very dodgy. So they're going to start missing apexes. That's going to be a problem, as that will slow you down significantly. This track is all about hanging onto the curbs, hanging onto the apexes, as it is with every track, technically. But very important here, as you can see, another fast right-hander there. He just doesn't have the grip level. Going towards turn 10. This is one of the few left-hand turns at Catalunya, and even then, the grip level just not there for Matt Kutcher at all. Monica's tires doing very well. She's having a good, peaceful run here at the moment, managing the pace, managing the gap back to Matt Kutcher, the Mercedes. The Aston is actually looking very strong here today, and it's not necessarily because of the ultimate speed of the car. It definitely took a bit of a hit recently. It's not the fastest car on the grid, but it certainly is one of the best on its tire life at the moment. If you use the car correctly, if you use the aero correctly. And we do see our first pit stop there from Dylan Scarborough. It's coming in from using the racing softs. That Porsche is going to be absolutely killing the racing softs. So opting to pit maybe a little bit early. Could be indicative of some extra tire wear that he's put on the car. And he did have quite a lot of overtakes early on in this race. I think he qualified in 5th spot overall. So managing to get up in the 3rd place already is a very, very good drive from him so far. Welcome into the grandstands. Welcome in. Thank you very much, everyone. Really appreciate you all being here. And please do enjoy the racing action today for the MotorMotion E-Series GT3 Championship. Here, round 4, we are on board with Monica Camilleri at Catalunya. Very sunny out there. Make sure you got your sunscreen on, everyone. As we do see Mad Rick still holding onto the back of Jeff Bruin, so doing well. Jeff Bruin there. Oh, we've had a mistake from Matt Kutch. Yes, Matt Kutcher has gone into the wall, folks. unfortunately, we were not able to see it. That promotes Rookie 98 up into 4th spot. A 9-second gap there, so he really did make a big mistake. And he's going very, very squiggly there, and that'll give Jeff Bruin the run on the second longest pit straight. That's between turns 9 and turns 10. Gets ahead, so that's a 5th place now for Jeff Bruin. Now, Dylan Scarborough has already pitted, of course, so technically they've got one spot that they don't necessarily have for the entire race. But Matt Kutscher, look, he's got damage on the right front of his car. The front splitter now basically inoperative. And to compound that, his left front tire is absolutely destroyed on the mediums, and he does choose to pit. Sensible choice from him. He'll be able to repair that damage. That gives Aiden Sampson the run. Look at those mediums, managing those much, much better than Matt Kutscher was. Matt Kutscher, I should say. And that will give him a big advantage, the overcut, essentially. So staying out on track is probably going to be the strongest strategy. If you can manage the tires, if you can keep them alive and healthy throughout the race, that will give you a significant, and I mean really significant, overcut at this race. So most of these cars, the BMW especially, doing very well on its tires today. And keep talking about tires. I know I do love these Pirellis, but there's a good reason for that. And that reason is this is going to come down to tire wear today. Fuel strategy is really not at play at all. You can pretty much go flat out, although if you're going for the one-stop strategies, you will need to be aware of your fuel. And as we can see, the gap still extending between Dean van der Zandt in 2nd place and Matthew Joynston, the Bullet, out in front. Behind them is Monica Camilleri, just going off screen there, and Rookie 98. That front left tire is essentially dead. We're actually getting into the point where you're going to be looking at a puncture on those tires. Got to be very careful. If you get a puncture, that tire becomes completely useless and you'll be crawling back to the pit lane. Scroll through the field and see who's got some assists on. These assists can come into play in terms of managing the tire wear. Looks like some traction control in use there by Jeff Bruin. Very smart move to do. Looks like the guys with the higher tire wear are also the ones who are not using traction control. Now, traction control on will mean that you are actually losing speed overall, but you're saving the tires. So traction control, for anyone who doesn't know, will kick in to make sure you don't spin the rear tires. If you spin the rear tires, you're going to light them up. If you light up the tires, you're burning the rubber off them, you're burning the grip away. And that happens obviously mostly on corner exit as they put the power down, the pedal to the metal. Some more TCS in use. So I think the Gridline Racing guys having a little chat before. Team strategy here might be coming into a play. Certainly in terms of sharing some tips between the drivers. A little bit of latency there, my apologies. Yeah, traction control being used by Dylan Scarborough as well. He's gone out on the medium tires. Okay, so starting on the softs was Dylan Scarborough. And now we have a medium stint for him. Will he be able to take it all the way to the end? He did manage to do about 23 minutes or 22 minutes or so on the soft tires. That bodes well for his one-stop strategy here today. Interestingly here, though, for Sean Parker, our privateer, he's not really been able to make any progress today. He was a little bit cut out of qualifying, not putting any good laps in, unfortunately. Not able to find the pace that he's had in previous rounds here. And we usually see him up the top 3 usually, but to see him down 11th, I don't think anything's happened on track to cause him to drop down. My suspicion here is that those tires and the Mercedes just not quite jiving with his driving style, and possibly track knowledge might be playing a little bit of a part in this as well. Ahead of him is Tim Pears, roadie, and behind him is Chris White, the WTCR driver. Good race so far for Chris White. He's actually made up a lot of positions. He started in last place in qualifying, so doing well to manage his strategy. Matt Kutscher has come in for a pit stop, as we saw on the previous lap. It was lap 14, technically the end of lap 13, and he has come out onto the softs. So it looks like he might be going for a 2-stop strategy here, opting to push and push and push, try and make up some time to what he has lost. He's had an incident on, I believe it was lap 11, where he was off the track. No, sorry, that was lap 13 as well. He lost it going round turn 3, I believe, and that just compromised him throughout that entire lap. Fastest lap still with Dylan Scarborough today, who came out on the medium tyres. Puts Karma Foster back into last place, but she's also had a pit stop. We did see another person jumping into the pits. We'll try and find them. Oh, and in the background, Aiden Sampson goes for a trip to Barrier. Not the person you want to be seeing today. The Shadow Realm has taken a victim, another victim, and manages to do it, does well to bring it back on track. So well done there. Might have been a little bit of latency, so it looked worse than it was. Good control there from Aiden, but that medium tyre starting to fall off a cliff, sadly. Monica Camilleri almost done 30 minutes on these mediums. I would suspect she's going to pit for another set of mediums. That will make sure that she is got a good distance in front of her and behind her to those who are doing the two-stop strategy today. The medium's not going to last forever, though. I think she'll get another 3 or 4 laps out of that before she'll need to come into the pit lane and get a nice replacement. Managing her fuel very well, and actually managing the gap to Dean van der Zandt very well. Only 5 seconds behind. Very good job by her. But now on board with our leader, he's using up a little bit of the gap behind him. Was 8 seconds, now 6.5. But the medium tires, there we go. Before the race, if you had asked me before the race, I would have said the mediums would last maybe 25 minutes. And here we are at the 30-minute mark, crossing over to half race distance now. And we still have folks running the medium tire. There we go, the one-stop strategy very much in play. It will be interesting to see exactly what these teams and drivers end up opting for. Dylan Scarborough, I suspect, is going to have to pit again. Behind him is Wade Rushton. This is a match made in heaven. These two fighting it out at Spa in the previous round for over 8 laps towards the end. And it was essentially slower tire wear, and slower car versus faster car, Dylan Scarborough, the Porsche, which had higher tire degradation. And at the end, it didn't play out very well for Dylan. So right now, as it stands, Matthew Joinson leading the Silver Championship for us, followed by Dean van der Zandt in second for Silver Championship and 3rd place for Monica Camilleri. And in the bronze category, currently in the lead, it is Marty McFarty. That is Dylan Scarborough in the Porsche, followed by Wade Rushton, and then followed by Tim Pears, who has not pitted. Look at that that front left. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I was talking about puncture territory a few moments ago, and I think Tim Pears here is pushing his luck. That Mercedes looking very squiggly, being rapidly caught up by the rookie 98 behind him. Diffusion Race Engineering. Oh, look at that. The amount of grip difference between these two. He's got to come into the pits right now. Tim Pears, you've got to be coming. Yeah, there we go. Into the pits he does come. Wow, that was a close one. That was a very close one for him. One more lap and he would have had a flat tire to deal with. That would have been a disaster. Mad Rick, his teammate, also coming in. So the Mercedes doing okay to manage its tires. Strike Race Tech trying to get some strategies. We do have a new fastest lap set now by Matt Kutscher, Black Rose Racing. So good job for him. That's very good. He's on the soft, so he's first of the soft runners. Likely doing a 2-stop strategy here, because those softs are not going to last the next 28 minutes of this race, and it looks like he's absolutely flooring it. Setting the fastest lap, really pushing those tires now. Mad Rick coming out of the pit lane through turn 3, opting for the medium strategy now. So he's gone medium, medium. That makes sense. You can push a little bit harder in the second stint. He's managed to extend it by 2.5 minutes, so good job for him. Very well managed. And Karma Foster also going for the one-stop strategy of medium, medium. So everyone opting for slightly slower times on track and avoiding that very, very long pit stop. And I'm just doing the math on it right now, but 40 seconds appears to be the minimum amount of time lost in the pit stop. So that's very significant. On track, that makes a massive, massive difference. And still running, extending his stint, is Jeff Bruin, doing very, very well at the moment. 15 seconds behind Monica Camilleri in front of him and 25 seconds off the lead. But that doesn't matter at all. Pushing for the one-stop strategy on the mediums as well. So that's definitely the optimum strategy here today. As predicted earlier, if the mediums run well, and they can do half race distance, then you are good to go. So he's got another couple of laps on him. He'll be dropping off in terms of the lap times. You can see falling from the 48 now into the 49. So it's costing him a little bit on track. And Dylan Scarborough behind him will be looking to make up some time. See if he can catch up to Jeff Bruin. He might be able to. Do some action on track here between Wade Rushton and Rookie 98, both in the bronze category. The tires for Wade Rushton not doing him any favors as Ascend up the inside goes Rookie 98. Great move from him. A little bit of contact at the apex, but nothing unfair. So the tire life there playing a big impact. As you can see, racing soft tires that are fresh versus aging medium tires. That's interesting for the Rookie 98 here. Opting for the soft tires. That's not going to last the rest of the race distance. And looks like he's trying to push to make up the 40-second deficit that you get from doing an extra pit stop. So that was very critical for his race to get ahead of Wade Rushton. Puts him back up into second in the bronze category. It's currently 35 minutes into this race. 25 minutes to go. A long way in this race. A long way through and a long way to go. Half race distance. We do see two of the top runners, Monica and Jeff, opting to pit now on their mediums. So it'll be good to see what they choose. I don't think they're going to be going onto the softs. If they do, in this commentator's opinion, they'd be mad. You'd be mad too at this stage. I think, you know, for the soft runners behind, you're not going to make up 40 seconds to the runners ahead. And it does appear to be what Dylan Scarborough, who's now reclaimed third position, is trying to do. I don't think it's going to work out for them. So a bold strategy here by the leaders of the Bronze Championship. We'll see if it works out for them. Out of the pits comes Monica Camilleri on soft tires. Very interesting. Can she make them last the full 25 minutes remaining in this race? I'm a little bit astonished. Losing out one position there was that Jeff Bruin. He's also opted for the soft tire, so they're extending their medium strategy and trying for the softs. So the strategy that has evolved in this race, not predicted by yours truly, the medium, soft, one-stopper, now being favored by several drivers on the grid. They're going to be able to push hard, and they won't need a full tank of fuel either. We'll see how they go. It'll be a very close call towards the end of the race. They're going to have to do very, very well to manage the tire life of these on these soft tires. Sorry, I'm just a little bit baffled in a way because at the end of the day, the medium could be very strong, but that's why they've been extending the stint. So by extending the stint on the mediums, you are bringing the soft tires back into range. That's what Marty McFarty, Dylan, has been able to do so far. He started on the soft tires, remember, so opposite strategy for him. Those we've just been talking about, going on the mediums first and then going on to the soft tires. So Dylan's going to have a bit of work to do later in this race, as he will be on a slower tire that is degrading. But others will be on a faster tire that is degrading also faster. So going to be very interesting towards the end of this race. I'm very much looking forward to it. Make sure you have a full cup of tea, a pina colada, a beer in the grandstand, and you stay tuned as we continue our broadcast of the Group B here at Catalunya for round 4 of the MotorMotion E-Series GT3 Championship. And I will be back with you in one moment, so stay tuned. on-track action between Tim Pears and Wade Rushton. Both of them have just come out of the pits, although I believe Wade Rushton may have... Yeah, he's just come out of the pits on the racing soft, so it should be no problem for Wade Rushton to hold off the advance of Tim Pears. So just getting out of the pit stop in front of the Strike Race Tech driver. And if he manages the tyres well, he will make it to the end of the race. Now, an important bit of strategy going on at the top here, although a 0.5 second penalty, Dean van der Zandt will be mad with that, but he's done a very, very good job managing his tyres, the racing mediums, lasting to 38 minutes through the race. So very good job by him. Dean van der Zandt has proven in the previous races that his tyre wear is significantly less than some others on the grid. His car control really coming into play as we see him go out of the pits ahead of rookie. No, just falling actually behind the rookie, so he's going to have a little bit of work to do. And looks like we just had a bit of action there as well. The rookie 98 overtaking Marty, who's actually then re-overtaken him through turn 2. As they go through turn 3, a little bit of a touch on the rear bumper there. No real significant contact as up the inside goes the rookie 98. Can he make a move stick through turn 4? Yes, what a move there. And Dean van der Zandt is looking up the inside now of Dylan Scarborough. He's going to try and make something happen. Does he go for a ascend? Yes, he does. Into turn 5, the seat. Great move there by Dean van der Zandt. He really needs to make up this time. He's going to lose out again, though, on the upcoming straight after turn 9. He's got that 0.5 second penalty to deal with. But the rookie on the softs, looking to make it another 20 minutes here, although they may need to do another pit stop. Pushing ahead of Dean van der Zandt, pushing ahead of Dylan Scarborough, and taking the lead of the Bronze Championship here today. Can he hold on to it? This is what it's going to come down to. Dylan Scarborough starting to fall off a little bit. Those mediums are a lot slower than the softs when they're at higher amounts of degradation. Sorry, lower amounts of degradation. So doing a 49 on that previous lap. The rookie 98 on the soft, setting our fastest lap time, taking that away from Matt Kutscher. Now a 146.414. As we just see someone get very sideways there. Looks like we did, but there's a little bit of latency in the game lobby, so nothing to worry about. No contact, no nothing. And the soft tires of Matt Kutscher now looking to be a little bit worn out. He's going to have to go for another pit stop. So that won't be a 6th place finish for him. Question is, where will he come out after that next pit stop? It'll be a couple of laps until he has to do it. Doesn't need to refuel, so he'll save a little bit of time in the pit stop for that. Behind him, Jeff Bruin, who's going to be making it easily to the end on these racing softs. He'll be looking to regain a couple of positions based on what's going on. Now, yes, he is 60 seconds off the race lead, but he won't be anywhere near that off 3rd place. So this could be a very good strategy call for Jeff. Just needs to look after those tires, keep it on track, manage his strategy, and he could be in for a very good result here today. Monica behind Dylan, behind Dean, behind the rookie, behind Matthew Jointson, the Bullet, out in front. Oh wow, look at that medium stint. Coming in for his pit stop now is our leader. He's nearly a full pit stop ahead of the rookie 98. Will be interesting to see what he chooses in terms of the tyre choice. I suspect, given there's only 19 minutes left in this race, he will be coming out onto the soft tyres, but he'll have to take a fair amount of fuel. That'll cost him a bit in the pit lane. And of course we have the flying Dean van der Zandt behind the rookie at the moment, trying to make up some time. The rookie also putting in a great drive so far. The reserve driver for Diffusion Race Engineering mixing up the grid today quite significantly, showing that he's got some speed. He's set the fastest lap so far. Well, it's costing him a little bit of tyre life in that F-Type Jaguar. But nonetheless, doing a fantastic job, as we do see Matthew Jointson coming out of the pits there. Bit of a defensive back and forth, swerving at the end of the pit straight there, rookie 98, trying to keep Dean van der Zandt behind him. The soft tyres opted for by Matthew Jointson. That'll give him a big advantage throughout this race. So in the previous races, Matthew Jointson has gone from unforced errors and strategy disaster calls to an absolute strategy masterclass here today. He's done a brilliant job managing this race, and he does need to pull a little bit of a gap to these two. Takes a little bit of time, 1 or 2 laps for the tires to bed in and get really up to temperature. And behind them, the race still goes on. Only 0.4 of a second between Dean van der Zandt and the rookie. Behind them, side by side as well, is Dylan Scarborough, getting overtaken now by Monica Camilleri. The Porsche's tire life already coming into play there on the medium tires. A little bit of a switchback happening. Can he make something happen? In turn 9, no, decides to back out. Might get a good run on her towards turn 10. Monica will have to go a little bit defensive here. She does, holding onto the inside line, forcing Dylan to the outside of turn 10. Great driving there from Monica Camilleri of NED's Racing, keeping the speedy Porsche of Scarborough Motorsport behind her for now. Behind them is Matt Kutscher. He is going to be struggling on those tires. He's actually done an extra lap than I thought he would, but probably coming in for a pit stop this lap. That'll round out his 2-stop strategy here. But everyone else, for the most part, going for the 1-stopper. Either starting on the mediums, going to the softs, or starting on the softs and going to the mediums. The former of those being employed here by Jeff Bruin, who's going to gain a couple of positions now. He's going to go up into 5th place as he comes down the pit straight, starting off the 24th lap of his race. And we are now 15 minutes to the end of this race, 45 minutes through. He's only 11 seconds off the back of Monica. 5th place here for Jeff will be a good finish. He's got nice, fresh Racing Soft tires, though I think he might have gone a little bit too long on the mediums. We'll see, but 15 minutes is actually not a lot of time left, but it's a fair amount of time when you consider how fast these soft tires are grade. If you start to push into the 47s, which Jeff is doing, you will see those Racing Softs absolutely fall off a cliff towards the end of the race. Behind all these guys and pretty close on track is Matt Kutscher and Karma Foster, now fighting for 9th place. And apologies, that is actually Dylan Scarborough and Matt Kutscher now fighting for these positions. And Dylan Scarborough has made his 2nd stop, so a 2-stop strategy being employed by Dylan Scarborough. That's going to put him 40 seconds down in terms of the pit stop. Not ideal, but if he can make it happen, this Porsche is very, very fast, as was proven during qualifying on the Racing Soft tires. We'll see if he can make some magic happen. Already pulling out a gap to Matt Kutscher behind him. Nearly up to 0.8 of a second. There we go. You see sheer vast amount of distance between him and Matt Kutscher in terms of the grip level. Matt Kutscher, of course, is a Silver Championship driver. Dylan, ahead of him, is a bronze category driver. So Dylan's really going to be driving for his life at the moment. He wants those extra points for his team. And at the moment, it looks like he's going to get them. A little bit of action between Mad Rick and Aiden Sampson. Both of them going soft strategy. 1 stop to the end. Doing very well, both of these drivers. Mad Rick looking for a very, very good race result here. He might even be able to get out ahead of the rookie 98, who's come into the pit stop for his last stop of the race. Going onto the softs again, I believe. Now this will be a great finish for Mad Rick if he can consolidate 5th place, and looks like they have both managed to get ahead of the rookie. So the rookie strategy not working out, unfortunately, losing a few positions to the 2-stops, to the 1-stoppers. And his teammate Aiden Sampson for today. The rookie 98, of course, a reserve driver for Diffusion Race Engineering, so he's not a usual participant in the Group B lobbies for any of the teams. Aiden Sampson getting closer and closer to the back of Mad Rick. It's all happening. Behind them, it is, of course, rookie 98, and behind them, the fight continues between Matt Kutscher and Dylan Scarborough. So far, this is the closest action on track, although we do have some action between NED Racing's Karma Foster and Wade Rushton. Oh, looking up the inside as Wade through Repsol. They go into seats. Will there be a dive from Wade Rushton? No, he thinks better of it. The 666 car of Karma Foster employing the devil's luck to keep her position here, running the medium tires and looking to run to the end on those. But Wade Rushton behind her will be setting some fast lap times, and he'll be catching up quite rapidly. Oh, there's a little bit of mowing going on for the lawn at Catalunya. The race officials here today will love that. Every time you get a car chopping the grass, it does reduce the overall costs for running a race here at Catalunya, so always appreciate it, but you've got to be careful you don't overdo the lawn mowing. If you do, you'll end up in the gravel pit. Now, a privateer behind them, Sean Parker, having a race that he will likely want to forget. 13th place for him, and yeah, that's not a good result. Sadly for him, that will put him quite a fair way off of Dean van der Zand, who's looking like he's consolidating second position at the moment. Jumping back on the top, a 3.5 second gap now being pulled out by Matthew Joynson. So not only is he the bullet, he's also a bullet that's flying on the back of a rocket, sitting on the back of a fast-moving horse. And we'll see what happens in the latter part of this race. The gap is stabilizing at 3.5 seconds at the moment. It could be that Dean van der Zand is employing his usual strategies of deceit and deception, taking a page out of the book of Sun Tzu, being nice and subtle there in second place, just keeping Matthew Joynson honest in this race at the moment. So it's not a runaway race at all for Matthew Joynson, though he needs to consolidate this. He's in a very good position. It's his race to lose at the moment. A little bit of a mistake through the last couple of corners there. Not the fastest, but pulling out a gap again on corner exit, showing the speed of that Porsche, as we do have another fastest lap. It's a 45.6. So pulling out some qualifying lap speed, that's going to really help to keep the gap to Dean van der Zand behind him. Also on the racing softs, managing his fuel a little bit. 10 minutes in this race to go, everyone, so stay tuned. It is about to get heavy in this race. Sparks are about to go and fly here at Catalunya. Looking around the other parts on the track, Madrick still in 6th position, consolidating that great turn of events for him. Dylan Scarborough fighting with Matt Kuchar. It looks like Matt Kuchar has managed to find a way past the medium running Dylan Scarborough. So Dylan, 2 stopping, has not done him any favors. He is actually running the softs now, so my fault on that. He was on the medium stint beforehand, as he was running the softs at the start of the race, but the 2-stint strategy not working out for Dylan Scarborough, unlike his teammate, who's gone for the 1-stopper, able to take those mediums nearly 38 minutes in this race, doing very, very well. Wade Rushton in 9th place. Doing a good job there as we go on board with Tim Piers. Aiden Sampson choosing to pit again. Those softs not lasting very long. That'll put him quite far back down the field. Might have been a bit of contact for him as well. We will see. Going on board briefly is, oh, a little bit of counter steering there from Tim Piers. Going through turn 3 at the moment. He's holding onto the back of Sean Parker. The Mercedes just not performing at Catalunya today. Do feel for those drivers. The tyre wear is very high on the Mercedes as it is. The front and rear lefts taking an absolute brutalizing. Good clean line there through turn 12. Keep it clean, maintain those softs, although you can start to push now. So if I was rookie 98 here, I'd be absolutely thrashing these tires, using the absolute maximum. Oh, that might have been a penalty. He was running a little bit wide, nearly crossed the white line. Got to be careful about that. If you run wide, that penalty will cost you quite significantly. You do not want to be doing that. Back at the front, and the gap is still stable at 3.5 seconds. Both of these guys putting in some very fast lap times, pushing it down into the 45s. They know they've got only 8 minutes left in this race. That's going to equate to about 6 or so laps remaining. So we'll see if Dean van der Zand can pull a rabbit out of his hat. I was about to say pull a cat out of his hat. You guys can all figure out the Freudian slip of that happening, considering my cat has just decided to walk into the room and let out a big meow, which you won't have heard, luckily. My cat looking quite devilishly at my power board. Please don't. Please don't. Thank you. Okay, back onto the action, everyone. Make sure that my cat does not interrupt our amazing broadcast today, and I'm going to be having an absolute blast here in the commentary box. Sparks and fire. Flame and brimstone on lap 1. turning into heated debate and argument and philosophic conversation throughout laps 2 and 3, leading into a little bit of a spacing out of the field, but they're all coming back together as the strategies figure themselves out. Excited to see exactly where these teams are going to end up. Maverick fighting for his life, and oh, was that a bit of contact there? Oh, it looks like Matt Kutscher, good car control from him to maintain that. He almost went for a spin there. I don't know if there might have been a little bit of contact between them. No damage on the car at all, so that's quite positive there for him. Just jumping on board, we will have a quick look at his front splitter if we can. And apologies for this little interruption here. Got to turn the controller back on. No damage to the front splitter there for Matt Kutsch, so he's in good shape. Good stuff. No worries for him at all, but he's looking to get ahead of Madrick, and Madrick will be desperately trying to maintain that position he's in. Doesn't want to give up an inch to Matt Kutscher and Black Rose Racing. Needs some points for Strike Race Tech. They need some good finishes today. And speaking of which, if we go on board now, back towards the end of the field, 12th place at the moment for Strike Race Tech's bronze category driver. And that is Tim Pearce. In 12th place, doing well, good drive so far. The Kiwi driver, Aiden Sampson though, holding on to 13th place, but not the race that he wanted. He's got several bronze category drivers ahead of him, and those mediums are starting to look awfully worn out for Troy Britnell as well. The BMW is going to be managing the tires quite well, but as I said before, and I will say it again, Mercedes not doing a great job on its tires. The action here happening between Matt Kutscher, Madrick, and Dylan Scarborough, as it looks like Madrick has lost out to Matt Kutscher. That is very unfortunate. The grandstands, I hear them all yelling, charge your controller, charge your controller, indeed. Luckily though, I use the keyboard now with all the new commentary spectator features, and that is Dylan Scarborough through turn 10, has managed to get himself ahead, ascend by Dylan Scarborough. Scarborough Motorsport doing very well there to get past Mad Rick, who's struggling on his tires towards the end of this race. Not ideal at all. That'll actually bring Wade Rushton into the effect, potentially. He's only a few corners behind, but Mad Rick, oh, he was in 8th, he was in 6th place, losing out 2 positions in 1 lap. He'll be ruining that series of events. Not ideal for him and Strike Race Tech, but an 8th and 12th finish for those two for Strike Race Tech will bag them some points overall. But still not the run of luck that Strike Race Tech need to be having in the team standings, and individually as well. Of course, for the silver and bronze category, that will not be looking too healthy in terms of the points gained today for them. Very unfortunate. The field's spreading out again, actually. The strategies starting to figure themselves out. A few gaps appearing. So back on board with our leaders, and the gap is starting to shrink. Only about 3 or 4 races left. 3 or 4 laps left in this race. 4 minutes to go, everyone. Hold on to your hats. Make sure you're buckled up, because it's about to get intense. 2 seconds the gap. Behind them, Monica Camilleri having a fantastic race for NED Racing. She's, oh my goodness, look at those tires though. She is going to have to start doing some work to manage the degradation. She's got 11 seconds behind her, so plenty of time. She doesn't need to be pushing, just needs to take it nice and easy. Manage the pace, manage the tires. Don't pop a tire, for goodness sake. Otherwise, you will be giving Jeff Bruin the 3rd place finish. So a podium right now for Monica Camilleri. That'll be her best result in the GT3 Championship so far. And the reserve driver behind Jeff Bruin, rookie 98, holding on to 5th place. He's got a few miles behind him in terms of space to Matt Kutscher, who went for a 2nd stop. He's absolutely flying at the moment, though not the lap times that he needs to be doing. A 47.5 that time round. That's pretty decent. He'll need to be doing at least 3 more of those towards the end of the race. And otherwise, right behind him is Dylan Scarborough. Up in the 7th place. He'll be on slightly fresher tires as well, pitted a little bit later than Matt Kutscher. And of course, that Porsche is mighty around this track. Proving its worth and putting on a show for us today are the Bronze Championship drivers once again, mixing up the field. So right now, leading the Bronze Championship, it is rookie 98, the reserve driver for Diffusion Race Engineering. Only 50% points because he is a reserve driver, but he's going to be maximizing that 50% nonetheless with a 5th place finish. Subject to penalties after the race, of which we may have some reports to review before final points are allocated at this race. The 7th place going to Marty McFarty, that's Dylan Scarborough. Behind the Mad Rick, in 9th place, we have Wade Rushton. He won the bronze category last time out at Spa, but he's fallen off the back of Dylan Scarborough and the rookie. So 3rd place for him at the moment. Our privateer in 10th place, not ideal for him. Moving back towards the end of the field, Aiden Sampson with Tim Pearce hot on his heels. And ahead of them it is Chops and Karma Foster. So Karma Foster for NED's Racing in 11th place. She was up in 10th at one point during this race. She'll be running the racing softs, I believe, at this point. We can check that now. No, she's on the mediums and running low on fuel. She's going to have to manage that. That puts Aiden Sampson in potential position to take that 11th spot away from her. And we do have a yellow flag. Let's try and catch that if we can. Who was that causing the yellow flag? We will see. Doesn't look like anything significant. No significant changes in the race order at the moment. Oh, and look at that. Aiden Sampson right on the back. It's, oh, no. Karma Foster having to pit again. Did she just run into the wall? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, yes, she did. Oh, a pit lane incident there and a reset. Oh, it's even worse. She's been reset onto the pit straight. Oh, disaster for Karma Foster on this last lap. She's got no fuel, no tires, damage to the front of her car. Oh, she's going to exit, I think. She's been blue flagged, stopped on the pit straight. She's got no fuel at all, waiting out the end of this race, waiting out the hour, which we've just gone past. The last lap, she had engine damage as well. She's going to cross the line, and that'll be the end of her race today. As across the line, also, we do have Dean van der Zandt. Great race from him. Round the corner we do go. And who is causing these yellow flags? We will see. That might be for the pit straight with the blue flagged cars. Across the line does go Monica Caballari to take a great 3rd position. Her first podium here in the GT3 Championship. Round of applause for her. Great strategy calls. 4th place, Jeff Bruin. His best result here at the GT3 Championship as well. Very good drive from him. A strategic drive. A strong drive, a recovery drive. Very good job. And across the line in spectacular fashion is the rookie 98 on debut here for Diffusion Race Engineering, a reserve driver taking 5th place and 1st place overall for the bronze category. Behind them, Matt Kutcher, followed very closely by Dylan. Wasn't able to claw back that 6th place, Dylan. But good spot there for Matt Kutcher. He was able to consolidate his disastrous turn of events here today. So well done to him. We'll do a full review of the race results momentarily, everyone, but a good race from all the teams. Another yellow flag there. I don't know where these yellow flags are coming from. I don't see anyone turned around on track. We'll see. Sean Parker takes 10th place there, privateer, followed by Aiden Sampson, followed by Tim Pearce for Strike Racetech. And then last but not least, we will be on board here for the race victor today at Catalunya for round 4. It is Matthew Joinson, his first win in the GT3 Championship, 1st overall in the silver category. That is a brilliant result for him. Congratulations to all the participants. What a race, everyone. What a race. A round of applause in chat for all the drivers today. Fastest lap goes to Matthew Joinson as well. What a race from him. He's done incredibly well this race, and an overall victory for him in 1 hour, 1 minute, 42 seconds, 0.966, a 1:45.654. Well done to him. In 2nd place, Dean van der Zandt for WTC-Racing. That's World Touring Car Racing, a 45.7, the best he could pull out here today. And that'll consolidate some good points for him. 2 2nd-place finishes in the last couple of races, this one included, and 2 wins before that. So doing well. 3rd place, though, Monica Camilleri. She has had a fantastic race today. Started well, qualified well, managed her strategy and her tyres very, very well in that tricky-to-drive Aston V12. I suspect she'll be a top contender for Driver of the Day. Speaking of which, everyone, if you have any votes you'd like to put in for Driver of the Day, please feel free to in chat, and I will have a little look at that and take that into consideration. A third place for Monica Camilleri, she is going to be stoked. And I'm stoked for her. NED Racing will be very proud as well. Fourth place, though, to Jeff Bruin, his best result in the GT3 Championship so far for Gridline Racing. Well done to him. In fifth place, on debut, the rookie 98 for Diffusion Race Engineering, a race reserve driver for that team, and he will be getting half points for this. Behind him, but he is, sorry, just to mention that fifth place, a rookie, he actually got first place overall in the Bronze Championship. So a big congratulations to him on debut. Great result there for Diffusion Race Engineering. Behind him, Matt Kutscher, a good recovery drive from the Mercedes driver. 46.5 his fastest lap. So not really on the pace, but managing his strategies. 2-stop for him. So quite good overall. And behind him, 7th place goes to Dylan Scarborough. Great race from him. A little bit unfortunate losing out. He was in 3rd place at the start, but just missed out, sadly. So not taking advantage of his qualifying position. Followed by Wade Rushton, rounding out the 2nd and 3rd spots. They are respectively in the Bronze Championship. 9th place overall to Mad Ricky Rick, his best result so far this season. Chops behind him his worst result for our privateer in the Mercedes, just not on the pace today, not able to handle the jandle, so to speak. Aiden Sampson, not a great result for him, but a good drive overall. Having a few little bits of issues, unfortunately, which were not ideal. Behind him, Tim Pears, one of his best results for Strike Race Tech, so they're going to bag some points today. Good for them. Brits Lightning, Troy Britnell, again, a little bit of a muted race, not much happening for him. 13th spot, the cursed position. Behind him, Karma Foster had a disaster at the end of the race. Oh, I feel so sorry for her. She ran out of fuel, had to come in on the last lap of the race. To finish in the pit lane was her hope, but then she managed to hit the pit lane exit, spun around, damaged her engine, and then the game reset her to the pit straight. So she wasn't even able to complete her last lap. 2 laps down. And then last but not least, Chris White, who's performed admirably today. Fastest lap was a 49.218 in the F-Type Jag. Not quite making out the WTCR sandwich today, but nonetheless, good job overall from him. Wow. What a race, everyone. What a race. Absolutely fantastic scenes here from Catalunya for round 4. I hope everyone has enjoyed the race today. And to start rounding out the stream, I'm going to choose our driver of the day. And for me, it has to be none other than Super VT 2000. I think Monica's had a fantastic result today. Her first podium in the race. I think an honorable mention here today goes to the rookie 98 on debut for Diffusion Race Engineering. Great result for him, but nonetheless reserved driving. So I feel that Monica managing her strategy, going up from quite low in the grid on qualifying. I think she deserves this one today. Her first podium in the GT3 Championship for NED Racing. Great result for her. Great drive. So that will be our driver of the day today, Super VT 2000. Congratulations to her. And congratulations to everyone on the grid today. It's been an absolute banger of a race. And we will start rounding out the stream today as the lobby ends and we start to drive off into the sunset. Evening is starting to come around at Catalunya. And from here in the commentary box, it has, as always, been my absolute pleasure to bring you today's coverage of round 4 at Catalunya of the MotorMotion E-Series GT3 Championship, sponsored by Player1 Sim Gear. I hope everyone in the grandstand today and at home has enjoyed our broadcast today. And we will be leaving you with a couple of outros for MotorMotion E-Series and Player1 Sim Gear. Thank you, everyone who's joined us today for this race. Take care out there. Stay safe. We will see you next time for round 5, which is, if I bring this up now, the magical, the one and only Laguna Seca. Off to America we go. The big cities, the big highways, and it will be a banger next week as well as things continue to heat up as we go into half distance in our Season 1 of the GT3 Championship. Thank you again here from the commentary box. Stay safe, take care, good evening, and good night.